Obviously, location is a big deal. And that's why a lot of people come to Silicon Valley, right? Because the amount of opportunity and wealth and mentorship and innovation happening here, you can't replicate. But that said, there's a lot, and I come from Europe, and I've traveled around for the film. There's a lot of other places where innovation happens. So there's a lot of limitations, but you can do it. And that's the thing with Sheena Allen, who's one of the characters in the
Mm-hmm.
film. She's a 25-year-old African American woman from Mississippi. She grew up in Terry, precisely, a small town of Terry, Mississippi. And she's incredibly inspiring because she had no tech mentors growing up there. She had no one to look up to or to teach her anything about technology. And she just had a random idea for an app, and she drew it in Microsoft Word, and then she just started, and now she has over 2 million downloads for her apps, and she's on to building her next startup.
Today on Her Power Hustle, we are talking women, technology, starting a film lab, and launching an independent film with Nora Poggi, the director and producer of She Started It. Let's go.
This is Her Power Hustle with Michelle Talbot, where inspiration meets motivation to empower you for the perspiration of being a woman entrepreneur.
Hi, and welcome to Her Power Hustle, the podcast. We are so excited. This is Her Power November. I am so excited that you are joining us and you are here. Today, we are continuing our focus on Her Power November. We are focusing on the woman entrepreneur in all of her glory. And today is not unlike any other day that we will be focusing on women entrepreneurs. And we are speaking with Nora Poggi, who, along with her co-director, co-producer, has followed the journeys of 5 women in Silicon Valley, sort of, maybe, well, you'll hear, in their tech entrepreneur startup journey. And so we are talking with her about sort of the ups and downs of startups and the highs and lows and what she learned along the way herself. So without further ado, we are getting into Her Power November with Nora Poggi. Thank you so much for joining us here at Her Power Hustle. We have an amazing guest today. I'm so excited. She is Nora Poggi.
Thank you.
She is the director and producer of an upcoming film entitled She Started It. And this is really, really going to be great. If you haven't seen the trailer already, we have it on the show notes at herpowerhustle.com/she started it. And Nora is a French journalist with a background in film production. She's been interviewing key players in Silicon Valley for the past 4 years. She's graduated from the Sorbonne and the Sciences Po Paris in Paris, France. And she moved to San Francisco to work for a French social network company and went back to her first love, which is filmmaking. Nora, thank you so much for being part of Her Power Hustle's Women Entrepreneur Focus month of November. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for having me.
So tell us, I've talked a little bit about your journey, but tell us about your journey, and then I can't wait to dive into She Started It, because the trailer for the documentary is incredible, and I'm just so excited about this entire project.
Thank you so much. Well, like you said, I am a journalist in training. I am from France, and I moved from Paris to San Francisco 4.5 years ago. Originally wanted to work in tech and then focus back on journalism. But She Started It really happened through interviewing key players in Silicon Valley and noticing that a lot of them were men. And then one day going to a conference called Women 2.0, showcasing women entrepreneurs on stage, I was shocked to see amazing women founders who have done incredible things with their lives that no one had ever talked about. So that's kind of how it all started. And I decided, hey, I need to shine light on these women. And I partnered up with another journalist from New York. Her name is Nsia Syed. And we both decided, hey, let's film this and let's show the world who are these women.
So in terms of, interviewing key players, and Women 2.0 is an amazing organization. Their events are incredible. But in terms of, is it that women are not there, or is it that women are not visible in Silicon
It is
Valley?
both. So it's a tricky situation. Of course, there's a lack of women in tech entrepreneurship, right? Only 3% of tech startups are founded by women. And 96% of venture capitalists are men. So obviously women are much less present. They earn much less, computer science degrees, but we do have women out there starting companies and being very successful, and they are not visible at all. So it's a kind of the double-edged sword, right? We have less women, and the ones
Hmm.
that are out there are not even spotlighted.
Why do you think that is, based on sort of your past 4 years being right there in the belly of the beast? Why do you think it is that even the women who are there are not being spotlighted?
Well, it's a lot of things. There's obviously the whole leaning argument, which is true, that, women tend to be more shy and promote themselves less. And we've seen that a lot of women are not necessarily trying to get out there and show their faces and really talk about them and being kind of boastful as men are taught to be. But it's also, a lot of people don't try harder. They go for the same speakers at every conference, the white male from Stanford, and they don't try harder to seek out diversity in speakers. So it's about everyone, needs to do their part to kind of seek out new role models and find them where they are and show them.
And so, with She Started It, tell us about the film and what you hope to accomplish with the film.
Well, she started it. Really, the goal was to shine a light on new role models. So we followed for the past 2.5 years. We followed 5 young women entrepreneurs, Tui, Stacy, Sheena, Agathe, and Brienne. And we followed them through their ups and downs, failures and successes. And really the goal was to show what's the life of a tech entrepreneur. What struggles do these women go through, and really have real life stories, because we believe emotion and, relating to someone on screen is so much more powerful. And we hope, to go to schools and colleges, and we want to reach, 1 million girls, if not more, and show them these role models and be like, if she could do it, maybe I could do it too. That was the main goal.
And what are the types of experiences that you highlight in the film with these women that are going through this journey? There are four of them, right?
So 5 women,
Five
and
women.
so they go through a lot of different struggles and successes. So fundraising is a big one for women, and as we know, 96% of VCs are men. So there's a lot of things that happen around pattern recognition that men tend to invest in men that look like them. And women receive less than 13% of all the VC funds available. So fundraising is a big issue. Then, obviously, regardless of if you're a woman, it's really hard to have a company and get it off the ground. So we go through all that, team struggle, family support. Sometimes your family doesn't understand what you're doing, and it's really hard to be in that entrepreneurial journey. And we want to show what it takes, that no matter what happens, if you fall, you can get back up. And that's what's so inspiring about these women. They persist because they believe in themselves, and they believe in what they want to do for the world. So we want to show that failure is okay. And girls, as studies show, are much more afraid of failure for a lot of different reasons that we can go into. But they are really not encouraged to try and take risks in our society. So we're trying to show them, hey, it's okay to try. It's actually worth it, because what you learn along the way is invaluable. So that's what we're trying to do with this film.
So it sounds like it's really multi-layered, and let's talk about that then. So you found that there's a lack of confidence among the women in tech entrepreneurship. Is that what you're saying? That you find that there's a lack of confidence? And I know you talked about self-promotion and how men are a lot better at self-aggrandizement as well, and not just even promotion, just really just going in there and saying I am the best because, and women tend to shy away from doing that. So what are some of the things you found with regard to confidence, and on the other side, what have you found, or have you uncovered some tools that women can use to combat that?
Absolutely. Well, it is, as you said, multi-layered. It's a very complex issue. It's we can't point fingers at a one factor, but the way girls are raised across the world is very much a part of the problem and the solution, right? So be it in
Hmm.
school, being, parenting, society, the media we watch, everything around us, puts a layer on girls that is, it's not okay to be aggressive, or it's not okay to be, going after what you want. It's not okay to take risk, or, be followers and not leaders. And that's what Sheryl Sandberg explains, right? So we can do a lot by just changing the way we raise our kids, be it, at school or at home. And the media also that we are surround ourselves with, right? So that's why we're doing this film, is trying to show, hey, instead of watching film after film after film that shows guys being proactive and heroes of their own journeys, why don't we show more women being, heroes of their own journeys and their own life, and taking matters into their own hands? So it's a lot of things we can do to change that. So this lack of confidence is, to me, it's something that you're not born with. You're taught confidence, and you can learn it, and you can get better at it.
Talk to us also then. Okay, so we look at sort of societal issues and how women are raised or girls are raised, but how also important is geography? Because you're in Silicon Valley.
Yes.
I'm on the East Coast. Your co-producers on the East Coast. Miami, DC, New York. There are some tech hubs, I guess, but Silicon Valley is where people think, oh, that's where tech
Mm.
is. So talk to us about people who are outside of, so you're a woman and you don't live in Silicon Valley. So we're just going to keep diving. And, the next question that comes after that is race, right?
Absolutely.
So talk to us about geography. How is it very important that if you want to be a techpreneur, that you be in Silicon Valley? How important did you find that, or not at all? Or
Well,
what did you
yeah,
find?
that's very interesting you say that, because one character in the film actually goes through a lot of those things. So obviously location is a big deal, and that's why a lot of people come to Silicon Valley, right? Because the amount of opportunity and wealth and mentorship and innovation happening here, you can't replicate. But that said, there's a lot, and I come from Europe, and I've traveled around for the film. There's a lot of other places where innovation happens. So there's a lot of limitations, but you can do it. And that's the thing with Sheena Allen, who's one of the characters in the
Mm-hmm.
film. She's a 25-year-old African American woman from Mississippi. She grew up in Terry, precisely, the small town of Terry, Mississippi. And she's incredibly inspiring because she had no tech mentors growing up there. She had no one to look up to or to teach her anything about technology. And she just had a random idea for an app, and she drew it in Microsoft Word, and then she just started, and now she has over 2 million downloads for her apps, and she's on to building her next startup. So she can explain herself better, like how she got there, but it is about trying to surround yourself with mentors wherever they are. So if you don't have them around you, find them online. Now we have great tools, with Twitter and social media, to reach out to people and just be persistent on trying to find someone who's going to help you get there. So location is incredibly important, and I think Sheena is a great example of how you can overcome those obstacles. And it's still hard, but it is doable. And a lot of people, found amazing companies outside of Silicon Valley every day. So
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you mentioned Sheena's story because, since 1997, African American women have actually led the charge where it comes to entrepreneurship. Since I think, Black women own companies have grown 322%
mm,
since 1997.
mm-hmm,
But talk to us about the difference between a non-tech
mm-hmm,
company and a tech company with regard to that journey, or difficulties or similarities. How can women who maybe don't have tech startups
mm-hmm.
learn something from your documentary and the journey of the women who you feature?
Absolutely. You mean women entrepreneurs from all kind of businesses, right? Yeah, well,
Exactly.
we think it's actually extremely important for every entrepreneur to see this film, obviously, but it's because tech is just another layer, right? One of the message of the film is definitely become technical, and of course, we're not going to lie about that. I think it is a
Mm-hmm.
huge advantage for anyone to learn the basics, and as we speak, I need to learn that as well. So, any entrepreneur should learn the basics because it's just going to give you an edge for tomorrow's competitive world. But what these women go through, it's what every entrepreneur goes through, whatever business you have, a podcast, a radio show, a bakery, a shoe shop, anything. It's all about that persistence, that resilience, right? And no matter what it is you're building, if you're an entrepreneur, because you believe in something and you have a lot of obstacles to overcome. So when we show these role models, anyone who wants to start something should be able to relate to them. And I'll go further than that. The main goal of the film is not to tell people, hey, drop everything and become an entrepreneur. Not everybody's cut out for it. Not everybody wants that life, and it's okay. Actually, it's more about those entrepreneurial skills, resourcefulness, not being afraid of taking risks, not being afraid of failure, asking for help, mentoring, surrounding yourself with the right people. All that stuff, you can apply it to your career and your life, whatever it is you want to do. And actually, entrepreneurs now, are very valued in companies. So Google, for example, will tell you that they seek out employees who have those entrepreneurial skills.
Now that's interesting. That's interesting. So say that again, that you're finding that there are companies that are seeking out. Go ahead, say that part again, because I want people to really hear what you just said, because I think that's really
Absolutely. I
important.
believe, the head of HR for Google talked about that. And he said that they look for people when they recruit candidates who have entrepreneurial skills. And that
Hmm.
means people who have that resourcefulness, that passion, who are problem solvers, who are not going to give up after the first or the second obstacle. And that's something that anyone can learn. So companies look for entrepreneurial skills and entrepreneurship qualities in people. So I do believe that it's very important for anyone out there to just have that mindset in everything you do in life, whatever it is whatever the career you want.
I think that's a really great point, and I'd like to use that as a little bit of a segue to talk about the behind the scenes for you and your co-producer in getting a film like this made. So talk to us about the process of the filmmaking journey for you to create this project.
Well, yeah, it's been quite a journey, to be honest. I thought, oh, I'm gonna film entrepreneurs, but I'm just gonna watch them. Great, it's hard. Oh my God, but I'm not one. And then you become one because films are pretty much like
Exactly.
startups.
Exactly. That's why I want to focus on your journey too. I don't take it lightly that this is a big undertaking to become a film. You're creating a product. It's a business in and of itself.
Exactly. And, basically we had to learn everything from scratch. I mean, it's been 2.5 years. It's just NCI and myself. And we've had a lot of great backers and supporters for which we're so grateful. But, as a team, we're the only two who had to, go out and fundraise, find people who want to support us, do social media, do marketing, grow the team, find contractors to, edit the film and all those things. So it's a business, and
Hmm.
it's right now that's what we're starting our crowdfunding campaign because we are fundraising for post production, and that's everything to complete the film for it to be screened around the world. So music, online editing, sound mix, all those things that make a film great. And so, it's another big undertaking, a crowdfunding campaign. So all those things, stuff you have to do if you want to put a product out there. And it's been tough, but really, really fun as well.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it has to feel good. It's like, I have children and, you're pregnant 9 months or so, but I can't imagine being pregnant 2.5 years, which is exactly what this is like, right? You're birthing a baby for all of us with our businesses.
This is so true.
Um,
Yes,
it
exactly.
is. It absolutely is. So tell us where we can see the film, how we can see the film, when the film will be released.
So right now, as I said, we're submitting to film festivals as we speak, including South by Southwest and others. And when we learn, when we find out where we get in, it's probably going to be released in the spring. So the festival premiere should be around spring 2016, and right after that we hope to start screening all around, and we're seeking an educational distributor to screen in schools and colleges, and we're going to on our website have a tab for screenings for anyone to book a screening. So that's going to happen starting spring 2016 and all after that.
That's awesome. But your crowdfunding campaign will be starting soon,
Yeah,
yes?
it's starting so November 9th, which is today. The crowdfunding campaign is supposed to run until December 15, and there's going to be lots of opportunities on the campaign page to find out about screenings, buy the film, get a ticket to a premiere, all those things. And yeah, so the film website is shestarteditfilm.com.
That's great. That's great. What's the biggest lesson you learned in this process?
Never give up. So cliche as it sounds. Every time I heard this, I was like, "Oh, right." And it's like, never give up, no matter what happens. If you really want it, if you really believe in it, don't give up. And in our case, it's especially true now that we're so close to the finish line.
I love it. I love it. And how are you finding that the men are responding to the film, the project, all along going through this? How do you find that the white males in Silicon Valley are receiving it?
To be honest, I've been surprised by the support because actually men with daughters care a lot. I don't know about men who don't have daughters. I guess I didn't have an interaction right now that was negative with one of them, but actually two of our executive producers are, white men. So I'm just going to say the amount of support we've gotten from guys so far has been pretty good. So I think all across the board, parents care a lot, as far as I've noticed. But really, anyone who's passionate about this, we welcome them to help us out. So
I think that's totally awesome. And it's funny you say that because I really have found oftentimes that just by asking, you'd be surprised what you receive. And, it's like ask and you shall receive. We had, we had Dave McClure on, who is one of the founders of 500
yes.
startups, and he and I had a very good conversation about women in tech and getting funding and VC and all the diversity issues that you're taking head on. And he feels very passionate about it
Well, 500
as
Startups
well.
is one of our partners, and Dave is in the
I
film.
know.
So yeah, definitely, he
Yes.
cares about that stuff. So actually, there's a bunch of men in Silicon Valley who care about that stuff. We need more, but Dave is one of them for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. So definitely we will have links to everything at herpowerhustle.com/she started it. So aside from keep going and don't give up and sort of follow your passion, do you have any other parting words for our guests, for our listeners that you think they really should take away as a word of wisdom from your own journey and watching so intimately the journey of the 5 women who you highlight in the film?
Absolutely. Well, I think it's very important for anyone to surround yourself with the right people. And that's not just in business, but in life. 2.5 years of entrepreneurship, and I'm sure a lot of your audience has been through that lonely entrepreneur journey. You need a really good support system. Be it your friends, your family, whoever that is going to support you through the ups and downs. And I think that's very crucial. Surround yourself with the people who are going to push you forward and not people who are going to drag you down.
I love that.
Yeah. And,
So
be
tell
persistent. Never take no for an answer.
that grit, right? That's that grit. You have to have that grit. If you believe in it, you just can't let no be the answer. It's just not yet. It's
Yes.
not no. It's just not yet.
Exactly. Yeah, every no gets you closer to a yes, says one of the girl in our film. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell people how they can find you on social media. And again, we'll have links to all of this on the show notes, but I'd like them to be able to hear it as well. So tell us how they can connect with you on Twitter, your website,
yes.
crowdfunding, etc.
So our crowdfunding campaign is on Indiegogo right now. And then our website is shestarteditfilm.com. Our Twitter is at shestartedit. And Facebook is facebook.com/shestartedit.
Love it.
Yeah.
And tell us about She Started It, because there's something that I have in my head when I hear it, but I love the title. How did you come up with the title?
It was pretty random. I was on a plane going back home and brainstorming titles and going through all of them. And I was like, oh, I don't want it. I want it to be a little fun. I want it to be funny or just hooking you in the. And then I wrote down She Started It as one of the many other titles. I think there was Women Founders or Go Girl, stuff like that. And I don't know, it felt true because like, oh, there's this weird pun, kids in school were like, oh, she started it. And there was this pun that I thought was interesting, and friends of mine were like, yeah, this is the title. So I chose it. I asked a couple people before though.
I absolutely, and that's why I love it. Like I said, I'm a mom, but I was also a kid, right? And it's like she started it, and I love the cheekiness of it, with it being, it is a very serious topic, but again, it's life. We're multifaceted. We have to laugh too.
Exactly.
So I love it. It's like kind of like a thumb in the eye too, right? It's like, dudes, we're gonna do this anyway.
Exactly. It is.
It's
cheeky.
Just multi-layer. Yeah, I love it.
Thank you so much.
Nora, this has been an amazing conversation. I am so excited. I'm so glad that I found you on Twitter, and I can't even remember how I found you. But I'm so glad that I have.
Through Twitter. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing your story with our sister Power Hustlers. I know that they are really going to be inspired, and we look forward to supporting your efforts and sharing the campaign, as well as rooting you on at the various festivals as well.
Thank you so much for having me on, and hopefully we'll talk more soon when the film is out.
Absolutely. We'll definitely have to have you back. Who knows? We might see each other live at South by or something. So that'll be
great.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nora. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed that episode. I think one of my biggest takeaways from the conversation with Nora is that, it's really important. Now, of course, I harp on mentorship, that just because your geography may not match up with where the movers and shakers are, that you can connect with them, because we have so many pieces of technology available and at our disposal to connect with mentors from a distance. Also, to think about how entrepreneurial skills can be used in your day-to-day job, especially if you're a side hustler, to just find ways to sort of apply the skills that you're learning either in your side hustle or in your full-time job to enhance your entrepreneurial journey. Speaking of entrepreneurial journeys and tech startup, I am so excited to announce that we will be launching on November 19th the Her Power List.biz, which is the premier online directory for women entrepreneurs, and we will be enabling women to list their businesses. And you can find out more information if you head over to today's show notes at herpowerhustle.com/she started it. There'll be a link there for herpowerlist.biz for the waiting list to get more information. And I would love to keep you in the loop. Again, the show notes for today's show with all the information and resources that Nora shared can be found at herpowerhustle.com/she started it. I can't wait. Don't forget, we are continuing our daily biz tips, and we will be having today's biz tips later on today. I wanted you to be able to listen to today's show before we drop today's biz tips. Well, we are continuing with Her Power November. It's a powerful month, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Next week is going to be meaty too. All right? Her hustle is real.
Thanks for tuning in to the Her Power Hustle podcast. Produced and hosted by Michelle Talbot. With voiceover talent by Mr. Matt Young, music created by Warren McRae for 24/7 Music Group.